Hello, good afternoon. It is the Everton Daily Live, joined by Mike in the studio. You good?
Good.
Good. It's Monday, the 25th of November. After another disappointing result for Everton at the weekend, Mike, and it feels like another opportunity to win a game of football has just come and gone at Goodison Park.
Bit of an understatement, isn't it?
I'm trying not to go too heavy for the opening seconds. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was dire, wasn't it? It was absolutely dire. Let's just call a spade a spade. It was horrific, you know. And I think I said to you, I was watching on the telly, I wasn't there. But the second they went down to 10 men, you just knew we weren't going to win. We had more chance when we were 11. You just knew we would have nothing to break them down. We've got no pace, got no creativity. So as soon as we went down to 10 men, if they went at a low block, unless they made a mistake, you just couldn't see anything happening. And that's exactly what transpired.
No, what frustrates me, I've said this a couple of times now, but what frustrates me is we started the game actually quite brightly. The opening sort of 10-15 minutes, we were on the front foot, and I was thinking, good, this is what we need to be doing. They had a couple of chances. In fact, their keeper made a really good save early on.
Left.
Did it Dom, and he was going left one way and went down, didn't he? And it was like, keep this up now. And it's like the team sort of goes, we were doing all that and getting through, but we haven't scored, so let's not do that now. We're never able to just keep doing what we're doing. Like, there's no sort of.
I think the opposition figured it out though, because it's not that hard.
No, you're like, it isn't. You know, again, I'm talking to Andy, the lad who sits next to me, and I was like, we're probably the easiest Premier League team to plan for. You know, if you're an opposition manager, all week you go, well, they get an in-swinging corner, it's going back post, your keeper just come and get it, or let Tarkovsky at it and we'll get the seconds. They're looking for a free kick to cross it, that's it. Or they give it to Dyche. There's nothing else apart from a long ball. So the planning must take, when you get the team meetings, must take 7 minutes. And then they go, lads, go and play snooker now. I know, but Gaffer, we were here for 48 the other week when I know, but Everton, they just do the same thing, so go and have a game of pool. Because it's mad. It's so basic.
It is madness. It is madness. No, I mean, you know, we spoke off camera there. At the start of the season, we were scoring goals. The Bournemouth game, ironically, I quite enjoyed. I thought the performance was really good, obviously, other than
until
the last 10 minutes.
And then
so, but it was, you know, they looked like they had some like patterns of play. They looked like they were trying to do sort of stuff different. And obviously, he started chipping goals, and he's gone full, you know, into defensive mode. But realistically, that defence that was shipping goals isn't the defence we've got now, and that's what I can't comprehend is. Play that style of play, but with the defence you've got now. You know, you've got Branthwaite back in the team, you've got Tarkovsky looking a bit fitter, Michaelenko getting a bit fitter, albeit he's still a bit mild. You know, he looks like he's struggling just performance level-wise. And then Ashley Young's actually stepped up doing well. He's one of our better performers at the minute. You know, that defence at the start of the season had like an injured James Coleman, an injured Tarkovsky, a Michael Keane, a really injured Michaelenko. And so that was never going to sort of work, really, was it? You now got Mangala in there if he wants to use him, which, by the way, can I just say, how on earth can we keep starting Decore deep at home? He can't pass wind, never mind the ball. It is absolutely... I can't watch it anymore. The fella's an athlete. Look, and he works his socks off, and he's one of the few players you look at and he thinks, you know, he does enjoy being an Everton, but God Almighty, the lad can't pass a ball. Save it. You can't have him deep. He just loses the ball in transition. So the slight glimmers of trying to get someone on the counter, we just give the ball away so carelessly. You know, for me at home, it's got to be Mangala because at least he takes care of the ball, uses the ball. He'll try and pass it forward. Not an amazing, but just get you on the front foot. But yeah, I just think, you know, if you had that makeup of defence playing the way we were doing at the start of the season from an attacking perspective, yeah, you probably still ship the odd goal or two, but you'll win games of football.
Isn't football sort of moved on a bit from that defensive nature? If you look at it, like there's less... When I look at like the Premier League now, there's less teams doing what Everton do. Everton are like Burnley. Aren't these? Sean Dyche has essentially made Everton blue Burnley, hasn't he? You go through, but he has, hasn't he? Because it's about like defensive stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mean that like, I'm not even like having I can have a free kick because I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that's what we are.
Yeah.
It's all about safety first. But when I go through the Premier League, I don't see any other team doing that, any other team in 2024. I look and go...
Man City might do it next week.
Well, Man City might have to do it next week. But if you look at it, you go, well, Southampton are bottom and they're just terrible. But they haven't spent any money and they try to play football, so it's not them. Then Wolves are an attacking side. They're not great, but at least they're
turning it around now, aren't
they? Ipswich try to play football. They're not trying to do it. Leicester aren't very good, but at least they have a go.
Yeah, good on the counter.
You know, then it's us who plays full defensive mode. Then it's teams like Brentford who put 2 forwards on with 10 men and try to win the game on Saturday. You know, Crystal Palace aren't great, but they're not a defensive side. They're getting caught between the two. You know, and you're getting up into, like, well, Man U aren't great as a team, but they've got some really good individual players. You know, Fulham fly forward. You know, and so when you go up the league, and obviously the higher you get, there's none of that. So you're going, we're playing like a team 5, 6, 7 years ago, like the Stokes used to do. We've got more creativity than what we're allowed to show, in my opinion. Because we're all worried about the defensive side. Because even the manager, say what you like about him, whether you love him, hate him, whether you're just indifferent, whatever. But he was asked about Illiman and Jai last week in a press conference. In my opinion, he's made himself look stupid twice, right? Once by saying there's no evidence he can play there, when within 3 seconds you can prove that stat wrong just by looking on his apps like SofaScore or bloody transfer market and see he's played most of his games centrally. So you look stupid there. And then by putting him in the number 10 on Saturday, because you've told everyone he can't really play there, but then you put him in the second half and go, well, go in there because it's not working. But what we're doing is we're passing over the sort of creative side of it to be tight. Okay, I guess sort of you're letting go to goals and fair enough, but every other team doesn't play like that and still gets results. Do you know what I mean? So it's
it's about getting balance, isn't it? I mean, football's about balance, isn't it? And obviously,
what would you do with Dom? Because I'd
drop him.
Right, okay. I just wanted to be a different point of view.
I'd drop him.
Not scoring,
not even about that. I'd drop him because he doesn't want to be here. So, look, technically, or Laplavery, is he your best striker at the club? For that style of play, but I don't want to play that way. So I'd drop him and almost force a different style of play. I don't. He doesn't want to be here. He's not scoring goals. And he isn't, his style of play bringing other people into scoring goals. The team's not scoring goals. So fundamentally, don't see the point of him playing. I'd rather have a player playing. And look, Beto isn't probably the answer. And maybe as soon as Brozic and Mitty are sort of knocking on the door, then he probably will come out the team. But honestly, I think with Calvert-Lewin, it's season after season after season, isn't it now? Of like, you know, it's the style of play and the way you play. But he gets some gilt-edged chances, can't take them. We don't play to his strengths in terms of getting crosses or good quality crosses, putting opposite, because he's getting crosses in and he's getting crosses in from a position of where you can actually score from, because there's two separate things, you know. Like you've got to under Moyes, we were fantastic at creating the opportunity to get the ball in, so you could put a ball in dangerously. Now, like, I think second half we put a lot of crosses in on Saturday, but they were just from bad angles, just floated in and absolutely horrific. So the way he's sort of playing, he's not really doing anything. Beto comes on, and again, I'm not saying Beto's the answer, by the way, but I think he's more of an answer than Calvert-Lewin at the moment. Beto comes on, and at least he just causes chaos, doesn't he? You know, chaotic, he gets chances. He's there. He's doing something, and I also feel like if I'm a midfield player, he's got something I can aim at to run in behind. So look, I don't know, but getting back to the sort of functionality of the team, obviously the start of the season, we're shipping goals, and obviously you've got to look at it sort of defensively to eradicate that cause, because we were all bemoaning that at the start of the season, so we can't just forget we weren't moaning about how many goals we were conceding and putting that down to the manager at that point as well. But surely as the manager, you've got to look at the personnel and just go, okay, well, that end's working, so that end of the pitch is working, this isn't, but that isn't my defence, or in your head, that's, you know, so you're thinking, right, do we stick with it for a few weeks and get the personnel back in place and see how we can get that balance moving forward? He's never tried it. He's never, like, since he's had this defence, he's never tried to play the attacking sort of patterns of play. Not, by the way, they were still very basic, but there was at least a few patterns of play that you could see at the start of the season that you're just not seeing now at all. Like, we've even got rid of the Tarkovsky Diag. We're not even really hitting that anymore. It's just straight down the middle.
Once he done it on Saturday, and that was it. Didn't do it again.
I just don't know what it's mental. But like,
do you think he's caught between? My view of him is he's caught between what he did at Burnley, which was just have two big donkeys up front and just go direct, hit it long, and they got people around the ball. I don't think he feels like he can play that here for whatever reason.
I know, but he is.
But he doesn't know how to play the other way. No, he's still hitting aimless balls.
He's doing that, but with just one, yeah, I was going to say. So
that's what I'm saying. I feel like he's caught between the two, but he did for the first time liken us to Burnley on Saturday in his press conference.
Did he?
The job's the same, like similar to what I had at Burnley.
Yeah.
And now someone's gone in on him this morning. I'll tell you, there's a journalist this morning who has... just hang on, because someone sent me it. Dan Story has been on a footy pod this morning, and he said Dyche is just peddling out the same excuses he did at Burnley, only this time he's got far superior players. So that's basically dumbing Everton down to do what his style is. Obviously,
I was sort of pro Dyche coming in when he did come in, and I thought he was the right type of manager to manage a poor squad in a horrific sort of situation. Thought he'd done a decent job in terms of the second half of his first season, keeping us up. But only just, so it wasn't like he'd done anything amazing, but done a solid job. Then I thought he deserved the next season. And points total wise, he'd done a decent job.
Everton got 48 points. Forget about the points.
So he'd done a decent job. However, and again, obviously watching the show, you guys pushed on it a lot of the time. It was in real clusters, and that's not sustainable. That's not how a football team will function, because it shows that there's a distinct lack of way of playing, because you're just coming up with little bunches of little moments of maybe when players are fully fit, or just the ball's dropping well for you at little moments and little times. So I was all for him, but at the end of last season, I did want to change because I was like, at this point, this is where, if we want to progress, you've got to move on now. Yeah. If I was an Everton player, certainly a midfield winger, a striker player at Everton, I'd be absolutely fuming, by the way, when I listen to his press conferences, because he's basically just saying they're all crap constantly, and just going, well, all the other managers just solved that with a checkbook and I can't. You're like, eh? Like,
you have 14 players brought in.
But those attacking players, are you telling me that, a Calvert-Lewin and Ndiaye, McNeil, they don't get in any bottom half team? Of course they do. They walk straight into those teams. So these players are massively better than what he's portraying them as. And if I was them, I'd be fuming.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons.
Well, I feel like,
he's off.
I think like it's starting to look like he's sort of losing the dressing room a little bit. He's obviously lost the majority of the fan base. But unfortunately, the people or whoever does make the decision. The reason
we've got Dyche gets vote of confidence, because Alan Myers has done a piece today for Sky, like a reporter thing, so it's in the article, and for now, he's got the full support of Managerial and the board, so that is a vote of confidence. Yeah. I think Alan does hit the point really well, though, is that any goodwill that was there last year is gone with the fan. Oh, sorry. I wouldn't speak for the fan, but feels like there's a lot of the fan base who
it's got to be the majority.
Again, I wouldn't speak for the fans, but appears to be people we speak to, and what you see on social media and other stuff, and the feeling in the ground, is that a lot of people, that's gone. That goodwill's gone. It's disappeared. We haven't have won 7 games of football since December the 16th, and the next time we enter a football stadium and get on the pitch, it's December. Now, no one would accept, would they not, in any kind of season? It's longer than a normal season, by the way, that period of time. Yeah. You wouldn't accept winning 7 games of football in the season. Given, I've said this before with the manager, and I'm not standing here going, sack him, because I don't think it's fair. But I look and go, you've been given 14 new players. If you'd have come in, and that period, like you said, when he first came in, the window was gone. There was nothing he could do. He come in and had what he had, and he kept Everton up. Okay, and Lampard kept them up the year before in a similar position. Yeah. So they'd done the job. He got to the summer. You're right, he deserved another go at it. But it's your job as a coach, surely. You coach kids. Your job is surely to make footballers better. That's what you're coaching. If you can't change a player, if you can't... my voice over there as well, make a footballer better in that period of time. There's one or two things. The players either not very good, or you're not a very good coach. Now, Everton have got, I believe personally, he's got more options than Lampard ever had. Lampard had no Calvert-Lewin. or an injury-prone Calvert-Lewin, and Richarlison playing on painkillers for the first bit. The second season, he had Neil Maupay as a striker, and everyone winning on Lampard. Everyone.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not saying Frank. Frank won one game in 13, absolutely deserved to go. Doesn't matter whether you like him, don't like him, that record tells you it's done. But Everton have won 2 games this season. I don't think you can keep blaming the players. As in, by him, I mean.
Yeah.
Take some responsibility yourself as well. Mix it up. Throw everything at it. Like Saturday. Throw everything at it. They went down to 10 men. Put like Patterson on or something and play higher, or get better 5 minutes into the second half with Dom and go, lads, get them the ball, get crosses in, good quad. But we don't. We just sort of do the same thing and hope that there's a different outcome.
I mean, he mixed things weird. He mixed things up on Saturday a little bit, but it felt so disjointed.
In what way though? He put Jai in the middle for about 6 minutes and then put him back.
Yeah, he put him in the middle, and then he sort of played the 10. Then he went up front with less
than 20 minutes to go.
And then he's gone back out wide. Then obviously he's sort of gone the 2 up top and whatever, but it didn't feel like it come from a place of having a plan other than just chucking the bodies on. And
did you hear Ruben Amorim's interview yesterday after the game? Right, okay. It was only it was really good what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was just literally there was the first 45 seconds. The first 45 seconds got my attention because in that he said, I think the interviewer said something like how disappointed are you about the results or whatever, and he was like, look, I've had 2 days with the players because of international duty. He said, but you can't play for the game. That isn't how you coach, just for the game. He said, because if we just do game to game to game to game without taking risks and without trying things. He was talking because he went to 3 at the back. He was saying it didn't, it hasn't worked. He said, because I guarantee you, if you just play game by game, you will 12 months' time, we'll still be here, and this team will still have the same amount of points as what it's got now.
Yeah.
He said, because you have to build to something.
To progress,
change, you have to take risks, you have to look at different ways. And I feel like all Sean Dyche has done is got so far and then just reset it again and gone, we have to keep going to the game by game without any sort of event plan, without sort of going, I'm going to do this, but we're aiming to get to here. It's almost like I have to just play like this until we get to the new stadium. But that can't be, because we're playing chicken almost now with our future.
Well, I think you said that on one of your reaction videos, that we're playing ourselves into trouble. Like so it's not because we're not a team that should be fighting relegation. It's
self-inflicted.
It is, and it's absolutely crazy. But saying there about like the planning and moving forward, and that's sort of what I was, like I say, I had to move Dyche on in the summer, but was hoping to see that progression this season of going, right, okay, he's got some better attacking players in, a few more options in the squad when it's fully fit. Let's see if he can. It's highly unlikely, but let's see if he can. It was similar to when Allardyce, when he got us to the point, didn't he, where we were safe, and everyone was like, right, go on, show us something, and just didn't, and just bored us to death. And he's doing exactly the same thing. He's limited. He's just a limited coach. He can. He's a coach for a situation and for a team of a certain level, and that's all he will be. And now, when he first come in, that was the situation, and that was what was required in my opinion.
Don't get
in my opinion, but realistically, like you say, going by game by game by game, that's how the club's getting run. So you can. It's probably no mystery that's how he's running his team, because the message probably getting fed down. No, you can't. And you can't run a football club like that either, which is why we're crying out for new owners, and why we're crying out for a new manager. Let's have it right, because we know, we look at that squad there, and I think everyone's pretty similar in as much as we think, between 10th to 14th is comfortably, and capable of playing some half decent football in some games and whatnot, and that's what we are, but we're miles off it. Yeah,
we are. Cumbrian Toffee, YouTube member, says, genuine question, if we can't play on the front foot at home when a team are down to 10 men and are rubbish away, then what do you think it would take for Dyche to ask the lads to play with a positive mindset?
I don't think he can. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's necessarily capable of it, or certainly sustained capable of it. Like I said at the start of the season, I do feel like there was a couple of games where we looked a little bit more of attack and threat, but it's not in his nature, so I don't think it'll change.
Mark says Dyche is playing 90s type football in 2024. We have a manager who takes the fans for idiots. Get him out today.
But it's like you said, he's not even playing 90s football well, though, because he ain't got the two up top. You know, like the big man, little man, it won and scoring goals, because that way in the 90s, he still got goals.
Yeah, I mean,
scored in 3 games.
Again, someone told me on Saturday that 17th would be amazing for Everton this season, and Dyche is brilliant, and when he got to the new stadium, he'd play attacking football because we'd be in a new stadium. And again, I keep using this line, but it isn't Hogwarts, Bramley Murdoch.
Yeah.
You know, he's not all of a sudden going to play 5 up front. And then said if we got relegated there, it wouldn't matter because at least we'd have had some games in the new stadium in the Premier League. And that mindset to me is petrifying, absolutely petrifying.
That's wrong with it.
It's petrifying. You know, you go and look through the stats, Everton at bottom for possession. Bottom for chances and this, that,
third bottom for goal score.
Third bottom for goal score. It's scandalous. Now, okay, defensively, we're all right, we're improving. That's fine, but you got to win games. It's risk and reward.
Yeah,
this trotting out.
The whole point of changing from 2 points for a win and a point for a draw to 3 is for that exact reason.
To win. Yeah,
because obviously you can win 1 out of 3 or draw all 3 and you've got the same points. You know.
Do you know what the thing for me, Mike, is, right? And this is, again, I've said this before, like, you know, a little bit of stick for not sitting here and going, sack him today. You know, people just say it and all that. Come out and demand it. What? Demand it, so Dan Freegan's going to look and go, wow, God, what's this demanding? The manager's, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do that.
You're not getting that sign up, no?
No, I'm not going to demand it, but I think you've got to look at, people have timescales, I think, in jobs, and I think football moves on. It all moves on, of course it doesn't. People have standards and this, that and the other. I mean, Leicester have sacked Cooper because they said they haven't got enough points for the point return is not good enough for him to keep his job. They've got a point less than Everton. So
and you have to start.
And you have to go with teams, I think. I think genuinely, you've got to be able to play in a way where you can win games. I watched, as we did, Walter Smith's Everton. Walter Smith had 6 centre-backs playing in a team and still attacked more than we do now, with much less quality, you know, at times. Yeah. And I think you have to go for victories in games. You've got to. And the more you just sort of try to grind out results, I think you're just leaving yourself open to not winning games, which is what we're seeing now. And if a team gets it, let's have it right. Jordan Pickford's made 2 big saves on Saturday. We'd have lost the game. Flecken's made 1 early on. That was it from Dom. Pickford 1-on-1 with Wisser, and the one from Lewis Potter in the second half when he cut in, I thought he's just going to roll it. No one would have been surprised if he'd have scored and ran off and Brentford had won 1-0. Yeah. Nobody. Nobody. You'd have gone, yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Because Thomas Frank, with 10 men, threw 2 forwards on, with 10 men. Yeah. They still went, you're right, they didn't put 10 behind the ball and just kick it anyway. They looked a better team. Second half, they passed it around. Yeah. Well, how did Doncaster come to Goodison and pass us off the park?
Southampton
with a reserve team. How? And he's taken that as part of the 8 games, by the way, that we've only lost 1. The Southampton Carabao Cup reserve team, which we lost. So I can't have that either. But we've got to be careful because obviously Leicester have made the change, and you think, God, they get Moyes.
I just don't want to.
No, but I'm saying you've got. But yeah, David, people, you're looking like, don't get Moyes. Moyes is about 100 times the manager this fella is, though. That's the worst thing about it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want Leicester to get Moyes.
I thought you meant us.
No, I don't want Leicester to get Moyes.
Or they might get Potter.
If Leicester get Moyes, they'll stay up.
It's terrifying. But it isn't all on the manager. I just think his tenure.
It's not all on the manager, but a massive chunk of it. I mean, most of it's on the manager.
He's lost the players
because you're sending the players out with the wrong mindset. One of the biggest criticisms I've got as well, which is really sort of peeing me off, is it's the last year at Goodison. Now, any competent, half-competent manager uses that, like absolutely uses that as a every press conference, everything, like just making out, using it as that extra man bit and really getting it. And the crowd want to. They're just waiting to explode, to get behind it. Everyone wants to turn up and enjoy the last season there, dying for it. And he plays it all down. He starts games flat. Quite often the team selection gets you already where you're like, don't get me wrong. I thought the team selection, other than the Corey one, was pretty spot on for Saturday. But he's not using Goodison to its advantage, and I can't comprehend it. I think I look back, and since 2020, start of 2022, we won 15 home games out of 46. I mean, we used to win 15 home games pretty much a season under Moyes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So in 2.5 seasons almost, we've won 15 home games.
It's mad. I've just seen it. Robbo said should have been replaced in the summer is exactly the right shout. And someone else said this to me on Saturday. I personally thought the Patterson slap was something you couldn't come back from, and yet he's still got a job. The players got us over the line, not Dyche. He needed to go. A few people have said that to me. Any other workforce, you slap someone, it gets out, you're gone. Yeah, you're gone, and yet. And that's not me. That's what three different people. That's 4 now.
Yeah.
I've said that to me. How do you keep a job when that happens? Now, listen, that probably happens all the time in training grounds and stuff. But this was at a meal, and it got out, and the players weren't happy. They had to be pulled off him and all that.
Yeah.
When that happens, the breakdown starts. I think now you're looking and going, Pickford screaming at the bench on Saturday to make it like properly. Just
That's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing the second time it's happened. He's shaking his head. Looking at, and things like that, all of these things, the cracks are there, and the feeling is, I think the problem is everybody sort of feels, or most people feel like he's going to get moved on anyway in a few weeks. So why are they waiting? Yeah. That's how it feels. No one's coming out going.
I think he knows that as well,
and it looks like he now knows. A few journalists who are nothing to do with Everton are saying body language tells he's not there. He's not. He knows he's gone in a few weeks because he looks disinterested now. And
even if he isn't, psychologically it's going to take some effect. Even if he's trying to give it his everything, it's going to have some effect that he knows he's highly unlikely to have his job comes when the free can come in, and certainly won't have it come next season.
Absolutely. Eugene, I disagree. Brentford didn't park the bus at all in any time on Saturday. Not at all. They just played within a shape, which is what
I thought they went deep with two banks of 4, but
that's what we played. Yeah, that's how we play.
Exactly. But then
do we park the bus every game? Then?
Well, we do, don't we? But then they were progressive in counter attacking. I was looking. Are we a counter attacking team? Do you think the way we set up?
I think the theory is we're a counter. It's not.
Yeah.
Because we don't play like it. But that I think in his mind. That's
I was looking at the stats. We haven't scored one counter attacking goal.
No. We don't look like we're going to score a counter attacking goal because we don't.
But how can you be a counter attacking team when you've got no pace? We've not scored a counter attacking goal all season, yet we surrender possession. I can't. There is no plan, is there?
No. Let's just keep everyone back so we don't concede.
Yeah.
Harry James Tattoo says, fingers crossed, it's the same way United give 10 Jag a vote of confidence, then sack them. We did the same at Lampard. We did the same, although it was Mashiri. We did the same at Benitez 2 days before the Norwich game. Said he was not going anywhere.
Got a question for you. Would you want Dyche to be sacked? So say he's going to get sacked. Would you want him to be sacked now and replaced by the people who run the club now? Or would you rather wait a couple of weeks?
Well, if Kevin Thelwell's staying, it's a moot point, isn't it? Because he's still going to be...
Yeah, but under this tenure, would he have the choice?
My problem would be... Yeah, I think he has. I think if it's up to Mashiri and Thelwell, they'd have changed Dyche weeks ago. I think it's the other lot. And it might not necessarily them going, but I think when there's a takeover, things are volatile.
Yeah.
And you don't want to rock the boat. I think if it was up to Mashiri and Thelwell, he'd have gone.
Right, okay.
I think he'd have gone earlier. Or certainly Mashiri. I don't know really about Thelwell, but I'm just using Thelwell because he really should be the one that makes a decision. But if you're asking me today, if you went, well, Sean Dyche is going to go anyway, right? Sean Dyche isn't Everton's manager on January the 1st, say. Yeah. That's what you're saying to me. Yeah. So Everton are going to make the decision anyway. Then I'd change him today then. Because we've got Wolves at home, which is winnable. And I think a new manager ignites Goodison. And if you ignite Goodison, you've got a chance. If it's the same drill, and we go to Old Trafford at the weekend and we get beat 2-0, which is a standard for Everton at Old Trafford, then how flat's the Wolves game going to be? And they're 4 unbeaten and got a home game at the weekend. They won 2 on the run. Say they win that, that's 3 on the run. They're above us when they come to Goodison.
Yeah.
Where you could get Goodison feeling fresh again. If you're going to change him, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're going to change him, then do it and give yourself a boost. Then you've got Liverpool a few days later.
Convinced,
but I don't know.
Without someone new being in charge, I'm not convinced they get the next appointment right. That's what I'm worried about.
But if Thelwell's staying, and it looks like he probably
is, I'm not convinced in Thelwell getting the right appointment.
But that's That's what I'm saying.
So did Thelwell appoint Dyche?
I imagine he must have played his part in it.
But I don't reckon he had the final decision, did he? I don't reckon.
Probably Machiri. Or
And
I think it's more likely to actually no. Sean Dyche was Barrett Baxendale,
right?
And obviously maybe Bill as well.
Yeah.
Than they thought, because Machiri wanted Bielsa. Don't forget, but
Yeah,
Bielsa binned it. Don't forget the other thing.
He could still be running our 23s now, couldn't he?
Exactly. But the other thing to remember is if Bielsa would have said, yeah, Dyche wouldn't have got anyway.
Yeah,
Not like Dyche was Everton's, but even that showed you bizarre thinking.
That's what
Bielsa,
I'm saying, and that's
Sean
what concerns me with this.
There was nothing here
decision
in the middle. There was there or
look,
that.
I'll go on. I want him gone now. It's done. I want him gone. He's sleepwalking us into an absolute disaster. But I'm also then concerned of. But, you know, would the Freakins have a big input despite not technically everything? I don't know. But I don't know how it would
It's a tricky
work,
one, isn't it? It's a tricky one, but I don't know. I mean, if he was to go, who would you be looking at to take over then? What would you want someone who's a safe pair of hands for, say it was Moyes for 18 months? Or would you want a younger manager who you go, well, he's going to try and start the building process now rather than just putting a plaster on it for now? What would be your preference, do you think?
So if it was the Freakins making the decision, I'd want someone young, someone, you know, or not even necessarily, but someone for the long term anyway, someone that they see progressing the team forward. If it was a Machiri making the decision, I'd just get Moyes in, just short term to give him that 18 months. But there's enough time as a transfer window to go for someone progressive to be able to, we're not in the bottom three, we're not cut adrift, we're not, a million miles away from
there's players, there's managers out there, isn't there, with free Graham Potter, although we might have to move quickly on him because Leicester are available and there'll be other clubs looking at Graham Potter because he's available.
He wouldn't be my choice to be fair.
No, but I'm saying and I know that people at Everton do like him.
Yeah.
So you'd have to go, okay, well, he might be in the running. But if you do like him and want him, you need to move quickly.
But this is everything that's wrong with Everton, innit? So they looked at Bielsa, gone for Dyche, and then they like Potter. All three of them couldn't be any favour.
But there's others, isn't it? I like Terzic, who left Dortmund in the summer. I think he'd be a great manager for us, potentially.
Yeah.
Conceição, who's free at the moment, ex-Porto, really experienced, plays good football. There's three straight away without you going to get involved in having to. Moyes is there as well, if you want to say, without getting involved in compensation.
But compensation.
If you're going to play compensation. Then would you have Thomas Frank? Is he one who you'd like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Frank?
I mean, have you seen his interview when he's on the Brentford's own channel?
At Goodison. Yeah, the pet show.
I mean, he's looking around with a bit more love and like admiration of our football club than our own current manager does. There's I'd have Frank. I think.
Is there anyone else in your mind who you think if we could?
Honestly, I'd have a crack at Lee Carsley. I really would.
Would you?
I really would, because I think
not a big risk right now. Do you think?
Well, anything's a risk, innit? Yeah. They're all a risk, but fundamentally, pressure-wise, he's just managed the national team, so you don't really get much more pressurised situation, more scrutiny than that. He's brave in terms of decision-making.
Like younger players.
Yeah.
Give them a chance.
And he'll know that network as well, which is massive, isn't
Vital,
it? He's going to know that sort of...
And he'll know up and come and plays from other countries, won't he? Who he's faced.
Obviously knows the club, which always helps. And fundamentally, I just think any half competent manager with this squad, I don't think is a real risk, because I think the squad's good enough to stay up with it. So I'd like Thomas Frank. I would like, and it isn't just reactionary to playing them on, because obviously their away record's absolutely turgid. So it's not like he's
played United, Liverpool, City, Tottenham,
and they give most of them a game as well.
Fulham before Saturday. So Everton, how many points would Everton have got out of them games?
Yeah, the same.
And they wouldn't have had to go with all of those teams like they did,
What, 16 points at home?
And 16 out of 18 at home. So, Kit says, for all Dyche's bravado and his image of being some tough fella, he is half a coward. Terrified of us going to teams and trying to win, or simply just trying anything different. Everything's like for like, absolutely dreadful. Also, he thinks Goodison was nervy, more like bored. Thought it was funny when he said our attacking issues have been here longer than the 2 years he has. If you had 2 years to change something and you haven't, I'd say you can't. For example, not good enough with you. Not good enough for you.
So no, I totally see. That's what's really annoying me. If I was one of the players, I mean, let's have it right. They will be fuming, won't they?
Yeah.
The human beings. If
if I hear you talking about me not being good enough or not being able to play a certain way, I'll be thinking, fuck you.
Yeah, especially when you're getting served up them tactics. Players. You know what I mean? You know, they'll all be playing. They'll all be turning up, going, "This is shite as well." They will. They're not stupid, are they? You know, like, and that's what's really frustrating me. It was good. I put something on Twitter just about like
brave.
You know, just about sort of the local media sort of asking them the question about the 7 wins and really putting it on them. And Joe Thomas, fair play to him, like come back and he said like he read the article, he sort of put it on him about the attacking play and the 2 years, and it was quite good to be fair because he answered it and then he put it back on him again and sort of was just like, but you've been here 2 years, can't you know what's happening? And that's when he come up with the answer of, well, most managers solve that problem with a checkbook. I was just like, wow, this is...
Well, we paid 26 million for a striker. We've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who scored goals, who's an international.
Yeah.
Beto's an international. Jesper Lindstrom, Liverpool wanted before he chose Napoli.
Yeah.
Because he was obviously Klopp had seen him and thought he was good. Don't get me wrong, he was dreadful on Saturday.
Yeah.
But he is also a number 10, not a winger. Illiman and Jai, really creative, scored goals as well. Dwight McNeil's done all right. So there's players there. Go and look at some of the other managers, what they've had over the last few years.
No. And
nothing.
But the thing is, though, you know that when you're taking the role as well, don't you?
Of course. And your idea should be, right, let's get people in there. You can't... My gripe is the Premier League experience thing. You can't hide behind Premier League experience. Isn't it? You know, Dyche and Jai, he said last week, you know, well, you can't play it defensively. You've got to learn how to defend it. Well, his numbers are better than Dwight McNeil defensively.
Yeah.
So Dwight McNeil can play in that. I'm not saying Jai should play in the 10, by the way, but I'm just saying his argument for him not playing in it was about the defensive side of the game.
Of course it was.
If you're asking me a question as a manager about a forward player, the least thing I will come back to you with is what he can do defensively. I'd be, yeah, he creates things and he's on the front, he creates chances, he gets goals. That's even if you had 4 lads up front, you've still got 6 back. Those 6 back should be able to cope with anything the Premier League throws at you. And you still should have 4 attackers. Brentford, how high were they on Saturday with 10 men? They had Thiago, Schade, Lewis Potter and Mbeumo on the other side. Lewis
Potter played well.
He's good lad. But they had 10 men. And they were still breaking on us with 4 players. And yet we're terrified. Because you've got to go and try and win the game.
That's what I mean. It's a mindset from the coach, isn't it? It's how you set out.
I don't think you can be scared of everyone. And it feels like he's scared of everyone. And some people will look at that and go, yeah, but if you play for a 0-0, you might nick it 1-0. I think we're better than that personally. That's just my opinion. I just think we're better than it. Dan says, gents, just fed up with it now. Did it. Surely Saturday should have seen Patterson on and even throw Dixon on at left back. Dixon wasn't on the bench, was he? Or was
No, I don't think so.
Create space for others. Why wait till 70 minutes again? Got to go. Even the players have had enough of this fella. Everton Viking says, hello lads, hope you're well. I've decided that game is it for me now. I won't be going to another game until he's sacked. It's the absolute last thing I want to do, with it being the last season at Goodison. But honestly, it's the only version of the protest that I can think of as an individual I can do. I would rather watch no Everton at Goodison than this version of them, which encapsulates everything that goes against everything I believe Everton should be. I want to go out of Goodison with a bang, not with a completely negative, sad, pathetic, cowardly whimper. Can't do it with them anymore, and the club make me sick to my stomach that they're even giving them a vote of confidence. They're a bunch of cowards. Get rid of them all. Anthony says... Dyche moaning he's only had 4 minutes of injury time. No, Sean, you had the best part of an hour to get a goal. Club is sleepwalking into a crisis big time. He needs to go immediately. Blue Keeley, can we just have the freaking group in now? Because we all know they won't put up with this shite. Club is an absolute shambles. Jay says, vote of confidence for a manager with no tactical nous, no track record of victories. I see Ipswich take it to United, Southampton take it to Liverpool. We have better players, they have better coaches. Wolves and Palace look useful. We choose to stand still and stagnate. Oh, and Moyes is the second favourite for the Leicester job. Well done, Everton. Josh says, does it really matter if he's got the backing of the owner and current board when they'll be gone soon too? Only from a point of view that they won't do anything with them now. That's all, really, isn't it? What am I on that one, Harry? Bill says votes of confidence usually followed by the sack in a few weeks, especially given the board knowing that it's changing. But fear we're going to be in a bad position come January. Very tough fixtures coming up. The Friedkin group will have to act, and home performances and results are not acceptable. When will the club have some standards? Don't know. Richard says, I was really excited to go to my first game of the season on Saturday, going on the train past the new ground, walking up to Goodison, magic. At the end of the game, me and my mate couldn't find the words to describe what we just watched. Abysmal doesn't do it justice. We were literally indescribably bad. Put it this way, while I was watching it, I couldn't work out what they'd been doing all week in training. Surely they couldn't have practiced that.
No, do you know what though? Because you read them comments and hear them comments quite often at the moment, and it really is sad though, isn't it? Because it's meant to be a form of entertainment, and it's torture, isn't it? I said to you, I'm not going. I've been to 3 home games this season. I'm not going to anymore until he's gone. I can't watch it. It's absolutely boring because I've got a season ticket, and I'm getting tickets with like shite seats with posts in the way, my knees up by me. I'm just sitting here just going, what am I doing? This is absolutely garbage. It's just not entertaining at all. You know, you leave the ground, you shuffle your way out, it's blowing a gale, it's dark, it's miserable. You just think, what on earth what are we doing? But it can change really quickly if you get the right person in, and that's the only little salvation I've got. Is I'm really hoping it happens quickly. Someone comes in, and I do think you can ignite these players a lot. A lot, to be honest. And I think it could turn around where we're on the front foot. Look, we're not going to go turn into a team that's winning every week. Certainly not. But my God, we can get on the front foot and we can push teams back at home. Surely to God with the squad that we've got.
Forest stayed up last season.
Below us, weren't they?
Right, well below us. Yeah. And they've bought in the summer, but not amazing. You look at them and go, they're all right. But they just go with teams because Nuno Santo has gone, like, just let's have a go and see where we get. Not once in the summer did they talk about relegation. But our manager has said from day one we're in a relegation fight. How? We have 48 points last season. 48 points put us above Brighton. Brighton never, I know they spent a lot of money, but they never spoke once about relegation. 48 points, you should be going, we get 50 odd, we're in the race for Europe. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think we're that good to be in the chase for Europe, but we shouldn't be where we are. Yeah. And he's improved the team. More players have come in.
The only teams that should be mentioned about relegation are the promoted ones.
Promoted teams, that's it.
You know, is sort of, you know, whatever he's been told from above, directive should be obviously to at least get 10% more points than what you got last season. That's just the minimum sort of target, objective of anything that with anyone sort of works. So you know, to sort of then dumb us down, but he wants to dumb it down because he's comfortable in that space, isn't he? His tactics then all become sort of more excusable, for what he's doing. And like I say, if I was some of the Everton players, I'd be absolutely fuming with the way he talks about us. You know, we can go on the offensive. We've got arguably one of the hottest centre-back talents in Europe. We've got arguably one of the top 10 goalkeepers in the world in goal. We've got defensive.
Most of our teams internationals.
Yeah.
So they're not crap. They're playing the Premier League. They're elite footballers. Whether you rate them or you don't rate them, they can play football. Yeah. And I kind of keep going back when people tell me Everton can't play football. I go back to Doncaster. Who've played us twice in a year, and twice in a year played us off the pitch with League 2 footballers. Yeah. League 2. Passing it and moving it around. Not one single Doncaster player gets an Everton squad, Everton's under-21 squad. Not one. Quality-wise. Yeah, they cut through us with lovely little interchange and passing. So you're telling me a lad who's on 80 grand a week can't play that kind of football? Of course he can. Yeah. You know, like I said, if Sean, again, the thing with Sean Dyche is if you're trying to defend them, it's fine because everyone's entitled to their opinion and how they feel. No, you can't tell people how to feel. But if you genuinely believe these players can't do more than they're doing, in my opinion, you don't understand what coaching's about because players can do what they're coached to do. If you're a player playing football in the Premier League, you're obviously talented footballer. Yeah. You're a talented footballer. So why can other teams
you've got to create a structure and an environment for them to flourish in.
And play.
Yeah.
And play and pass it and move and get wide and don't just go, we'll do whatever in the
that
final
environment,
third.
isn't it, where they can be brave, where they can make mistakes.
That's it.
You know, you don't score goals not making mistakes. You've got to be brave. Not every time you take a winger takes on a defender will he get past them.
No.
So you know, you've got to understand that in that scenario, and if you lose the ball in transition, are you set up? Well, you should be if you've got two defensive midfielders on the pitch. I don't. Yeah, and just the Corey at home, for the love of God, please, just don't play the Corey at home.
Jay says, Dyche's aftermatch comments pushed me over the edge, especially when he said this job is similar to his last job at Burnley. The standards from top to bottom have gone. This isn't going to go well. Fed says, afternoon, guys. Turgid game, turgid weather, turgid move, turgid manager. Happy effing Monday. With Leicester acting like we should and Moyes on the cards for them potentially, does that effectively make our minds up of where we go? I.e., one school of thought was stabilising Moyes, stabilising Moyes for 6 to 18 months. The other school of thought was someone younger to build longer term. I think it's fair to say the majority of us want to change in management, and soon I hope we make the right decision. As Mr. Blaine says, it's never too late to do the right thing, although that mantra is being tested by our board. Adam says, don't think today's news changes anything. We know he's here till the Freakins coming. It's up to them to make the decision once they arrive. Paul says, I've been taking my two boys since they were 9 and 6. The eldest is now nearly 23, recently began working full-time after graduating uni. He said on Saturday he can't justify giving up so much of his limited leisure time now to watch such spineless dross. Well done, Sean Dyche. Daniel says, honestly don't understand some people's backing for Dyche. I half understand if he had the personality of a Martinez or Lampard, but he's just as unlikable as the footballers team plays. Steve says, hey lads, another forgettable game again on Saturday. Why are we so crap at shooting? Our players couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. Steve Donahue says, I just don't understand how they can not watch the games. Anyone in their right mind can see Everton are struggling. Do they not watch the game? Oh, about Dyche, yeah, I know. Paul says, let's hope this type vote of confidence means his time is up to go. There was supposed to be a season celebration at Goodison, but it's like long, drawn out, painful goodbye. That's full of sadness. Not the way I wanted to leave. Goodison Park. Daniel says, pet hate of mine is Dyche starts answering questions halfway through them, then being asked. He often answers what he thinks is the question rather than what is actually being asked rather. Everton Vikings says, people are far too blasé and thinking it's a surefire thing. He keeps us up. It isn't. He's following the exact same pattern as the season he got Burnley relegated. He isn't this amazing manager who guarantees you'll be okay. He's utterly failing and having a disastrous season. In his press conferences, he's falling apart. It's clear for everyone to see. I'm sorry, I love Joe and Julia, great local journos, but they are not pressing him or pressurising him enough. He's getting a totally free ride. I know one of those two like him, and that's fine. You can like someone as a person, but he is a disaster right now. Anyone left defending him, I genuinely doubt their intentions. It's mostly just Brexit blues who blindly follow him and think there's nothing more to be done. Nonsense. Steve says, well, if he gets a vote of confidence, then the gloves are off. It's time the fans started giving him the stick he deserves. Steve says, I saw a Christmas stall in town selling Everton and Liverpool memorabilia. There was a printed picture of Dyche and it felt so strange and out of place because it doesn't feel like he's part of the club. Who's going to buy that? Dave Witch says, I'll be very surprised if we manage more than 1 point out of the next 9 points. Any team who have goals in them makes it nearly impossible for us to come out of a game with anything more than a score draw. We have Amarim's first game at Old Trafford. Wolves will get 1 or 2 and then the Merseyside derby. Bill says, do you think Dyche having 6 months left affects the players' motivation? Doesn't, to me, doesn't look like we go down fighting.
Doesn't help, does it? Doesn't help because they know I mean, again, everyone's human beings. They know he's not going to be here.
So all you stop listening, don't you?
Yeah, it's just, even if it's just fractions, because the Premier League is fractions, so all these little percents just don't help, and yeah.
Like last couple, Chad says, need to get rid. Saturday was terrible. Such a negative manager. He must be looking for a payout. Bainey says this season's going to feel like more like with divorce and Goodison. It's going badly. Austin says, no goals in 3 matches is dreadful. If only we had options on the bench. Mike says, are we going to be the only club where a vote of confidence is actually a vote of confidence? Probably. We love a first.
Yeah.
John says senior players need to stand up and go to Thelwell and Chong and express their views. Get rid of him now. Put Seamus in charge till the takeover is rubber stamped. Baines there, haven't you? Got Paul Tate. Paddy says, if he'd thrown the kitchen sink after him after day when a man down, I'd be more on the players' back for being so poor, but he never. And that's why it falls on Dyche for me. He changes very little. It felt like he was forced into something he didn't want to do.
That's exactly what it was,
yeah. Nathaniel says, Baz, I'm interested to know why you've chosen December the 6th. I haven't said December the 16th. December the 11th, I think I said. Especially given he'd won the previous 4 games before December the 6th. Oh, why I've chosen it? Because that was the last time we won a game and then didn't win for 4 months.
We've won 7 games since December the 16th, 2023.
So I think he wants to know why I've said it. Well, because...
So it's not 11 games won, but it's...
So, okay. So what he's saying, right, okay, so in the previous, he'd won 4. I think it's a misleading... Is 7 games in 11 months misleading then? Not misleading. That wouldn't be misleading to a 1-year-old child.
But even 11 games in 11 months, it's not good enough.
See, that's to me. I'm not... You're entitled to your opinion, Nathaniel. Of course you are. Of course you are. Mine and your standards are different, mate. That's all. That's all. Jonathan says Leicester will be Potter or Van Nistelrooy. Yeah.
Oh, Van Nistelrooy as well, yeah.
Yeah. Blue Peter says should have brought Patterson on for Young at half time. The other thing I'd say, Nathaniel, is out of the 7 wins, 3 of them are in 6 days in April.
But that's the problem, them bunches. It's not sustainable to play football like that.
7 wins in 11 months is horrific. Liverpool have won 10 this season.
11 in it, I think.
No, 10 in the league though, isn't it?
Is it?
12 games, 10 wins.
Oh, yeah.
So I know they're the best in the country, but I just mean it's only took them a few weeks to win.
Yeah.
3 more than what we've won in 11 months. One goal in 4 games we scored.
Mm-hmm.
I respect everyone's opinion, but that makes me just go, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say.
I think I
don't know what to say.
What the majority feel like, innit?
It's not really anything you can say. I don't know whether to just finish the show there, because I honestly, that's the most maddest comments I've seen in. I don't know what to say.
Finish on a positive.
Pickford was all right, made 2 big saves.
Pickford actually, we're on a positive. So Pickford the last few weeks has come back into form, because to be honest, he started the season really shaky.
He was a bit off it, wasn't he?
Really shaky.
Yeah.
He tends to sometimes after the England stuff, when they've gone deep in a tournament, he doesn't tend to start the season too well. So him coming back into form is absolutely massive. As we know, the last few seasons he's been vital in us staying up. So that's really good. Thought Branthwaite was excellent again. The only one of the few players actually strode out from the back and could actually play a pass. He played a few progressive passes. It was just a shame he was playing in defence. If he was in midfield, he might have... Honestly, he could actually pass a ball. He's sending a few balls through. So, look, there are some positives. I do think a change of manager and this quickly changes, because the squad's there. The only downside, obviously, if someone come in now, got a bad run of fixtures to start with, haven't he?
Oh, the run of fixtures, terrible.
That's the problem. And that's why it needed doing a few weeks ago.
Again, the whole thing, if John Dyche if Everton were like mid-table and we were just being picky because we didn't like the football, then you could understand people going, yeah, but whatever, but we're in trouble. But even that aside, we all know he's getting chased. That's the problem. It's not even up for debate. If he was getting kept, he'd be in contract negotiations, and Everton would have it. Trust me, Everton would have it out there with all the journalists, because anything messes he wants, it gets leaked or it's out there. There's no contract discussions. He knows he's gone. That's why it's a problem, because it is sleepwalking. The players you can see. Never seen a player. I've watched Everton a long time. I've never seen a player screaming at the bench for a manager to make changes. It's got nothing to do with that.
Week in a row.
And twice on the run. That to me is worrying. Worrying.
No, it is. But it's even the last couple of 0-0s, like you say. Pickford's been vital in them 0-0s as well.
The save he made the other week at West Ham in injury time for the Mings was incredible. Incredible.
It's not like we're drawing them 0-0, but we never look like we're going to concede the goal. We're still needing the keeper to come up big in most weeks as well. So that's not going to last, by the way. That can't last. Something's got to change. Either he's got to change it or he needs changing, because doing what we're doing now is literally going to end in disaster, because there's no way we're going to pick up many points over the course of December. And you're going into January definitely in the relegation zone with him in charge. And if we're looking to recruit in January, we either recruit the type of players we want, which he then won't play because there won't be Premier League experience and all that bollocks, or he buys them and they're shite. So that's all we've got in it to look forward to. So he's got to go. It's got to happen soon. I know you don't want to call for him to go and all that, but it needs to be done. So we've got to move on. We've got to move on. Got to move on, and quickly.
It's just depressing, isn't it? It's just depressing. It's Steve Williams says, Baz, it's child abuse taking my lads to a match. Absolutely depressing. Going on a plus side to find coldish beers in the upper Bullens at half time. You managed to, did you? There was no Mars bars. Fuming. Absolutely fuming. You get cold beers, but I got a Coke Zero and it wasn't even
lukewarm.
It wasn't, yeah, it was lukewarm. It wasn't even Luke Cold, whoever Luke Cold is. Who's lukewarm?
I don't know.
And why does he pop up everywhere?
I don't know, but can he play left back?
He probably can play left back and go forward. Yeah, it is mad. Dan says, I know you're not lying, but I just can't comprehend only winning 7 games in 11 months. Be careful, because people will have a go at you for it, because obviously, I think the lad that said, Chad was it?
Yeah.
That said there was 11 wins in 41, and that's all right. So, there you go, overall. Let's have a look at how many we've lost. 4 months without a win is acceptable. Fair play.
It's just that it's all the stats are just horrific.
Bottom for possession.
The stats are all horrific. And still comes down to me, it's meant to be a level of entertainment as well, and your eyes tell you it's horrific as well. So you put all that together, this is what you've got. Just imagine if you didn't have NJ. At least when he gets the ball, you think, oh, what something.
I come in here and, like, obviously where we are with, and they're out there going, good point that for you Saturday, wasn't it? You know, they're a mid-table side getting.
Did he rub your head as well?
It was just stopped short of it. So I was like, you're a shite, you won't win the league. There was no conviction in me saying that, by the way. I was like, beating Southampton 3-2, behave, goalie 3-3 in, and I'm thinking, well, they'll piss the league, they won't just win it. But that's what it like.
Do you know what? Do you know how bad Everton are? It's that you haven't really even thought about that.
Oh no, that's the thing.
Oh no, but all the bus parades and all that.
I only said it.
Last time was with COVID.
I literally only said it because they.
Why have you depressed us even more, Baz? Why would you do that?
It's only November.
They're going to piss it, like you say.
They won it. Like when he won it last time.
City's going to try and get Dyche to try and keep a clean sheet.
When he won it last time, they pissed it, didn't he?
No, I know.
They won it by March, really, and that's what probably happened this time. So
no, I know, but they couldn't.
Make your peace with it. The way it is. What my point with being there was they come up, they haven't really said anything, but on Saturday, I think they were just like, laughing. You just have to go, oh, God. You know what I mean? Wormy says Dyche wouldn't even play lukewarm because he's got no Premier League experience.
He's got a lot of it in Goodison.
In the fridges. Jonathan says, one positive, Breuer plays for the 21s tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. That is a positive.
I mean, he's only scored about 3 goals in his whole career.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Yeah, of course.
We'll hang on that on him.
I don't know whether he'll play him a lot, though, because he tends to get the ball and runs towards the goal.
No, but in all seriousness, he's not going to want to play him, is he?
He'll create things and stuff.
No, but what I mean is he's not going to want to play him, is he? He just isn't, is he?
Don't say that.
No, but he isn't. If you play the style of football he's playing now, and Brozier replaces Calvert-Lewin, he's still not going to do nothing, is he? What's he going to do?
He's not great,
ball? No, exactly.
He's not great. Yeah.
So that,
what I mean, it's not saying he's terrible in here. What I mean, he's not Dom, is he? Dom's our best header of the ball.
Yeah, but even just bringing it down and supposedly bringing people into play, but unless you change the style of play,
might play
your Chimitty or your Breuer, yeah, possibly. What? Get Breuer out wide,
and just run with the ball.
Yeah,
be good to see someone run and have a shot, wouldn't it?
Go what?
We had 27 of them on Saturday.
Did we?
The stats will tell you. I mean, when you look at them,
I think 13 of them were Ghana, putting them into the fucking rosette.
Most of them are outside the box, and some are blocked on the edge of the box.
Saying that one that dipped was quite exciting. Second.
He hit a couple, didn't he, Ghana? He had a couple of little goals.
I mean, that's how fucking crappy. Sorry, pardon my face. That's how bad it is when he's the one. They're just letting him shoot, aren't they? Go on, hit it, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, the last game, he hit the underside of the bar, didn't he? Against,
he scored against them at home last season as well.
Exactly, so... I think that's why he had loads of shots. I think someone said, you scored against these with a shot, so he just thought, I'm having loads of shots. He had 4 shots.
Is it concerning that he's still one of our best players?
How old is he? He was our best, 35. He was our best outfield player on Saturday. Everton have also got the oldest starting 11 as well.
It's brilliant. What a time to be alive.
It's great.
I'm loving it.
It's because of Young.
But we've got a new stadium.
But Ashley Young played all right against Saturday, to be fair.
No, Ashley, do you know what? I had to push Ashley Young up. Took Lindstrom off, put Ashley Young up and put Patterson on, by the way.
Or he could have took Mikalenko off and put Young at left back, who would have been fine there, and Patterson at right back and tried to get forward. But that's trying to win the game. We're doing... Again, listen, it is what it is. It's so frustrating and it's disheartening. We've had 6 home games and we've won one of them.
I tell you, he must be crap, Jake O'Brien. He must be garbage, mustn't he? He must be though, mustn't he? He's about 7th choice centre-back. It's just amazing, isn't it? We haven't got a pot to piss in and we spent 15 million quid on him in the summer. We are class, are we? Boss.
He might be all right.
Just imagine he's come in and thought, okay, I'm behind, Branthwaite and Tarkowski. And well, then Branthwaite goes down and he's like, fucking happy days. And then the cart horse comes out. Michael Keane, hello guys. Ship about 72 goals in the first 3 games. Getting told how amazing he is. What a time to be. I love it. It is good though, isn't it? It is though, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? At least it's funny. Because...
I'm not laughing, I don't know what to say.
No, but it is funny. It's not real, is it? It's not real. It's incredible. We played Michael Keane up front this season, by the way. Did you know that? Michael Keane has actually, do you know when we all laughed and joked about it? Do you remember? I remember posting something as a joke. It was a joke.
People took it.
Saying about, and we've actually played Michael Keane up front. And Jake O'Brien still didn't come on, by the way. So he must be crap.
Or he's just not giving him a chance because he's not playing the Premier League.
Oh, yeah. God, well, he has, didn't he? Did he play for Palace? About 5 minutes or something?
One game or something.
Yeah, well, it's experience, isn't it?
Joe says, like one of your other texters, my son is now in uni and he's having the same thoughts. In fact, I converted my granny from a Celtic fan to an Everton fan to the point that she got buried with an Everton top on and she died watching this shite. I feel responsible for poor mental health of my family. Bloody hell, Joe. I'm trying to finish on a positive note. Quick, someone give me a positive thing to finish the show on.
At least it wasn't a Celtic fan. Nice God.
Ian says, get this new guy back on. He's brilliant. Mike's not new. Mike's been on loads. Mike once famously said, if we stay out the bottom 3, we won't go down. Facts, people. Facts.
I was right. Factually.
Ian the Blues loving you. You've never shone so brightly, says Dyche wouldn't play Maldini over Taki and Keno.
No.
He hasn't played in the Premier League.
No experience.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I love how all this experience is doing so well, though, as well. It's good, isn't it? Brilliant.
Oh, well. Sophie says Mike is funny. There you go. He is funny. Very funny. Right, so we go before we just descend into delirium.
It's a car, isn't it?
Is it?
No,
that's the. I wish we had one of them. I can go back and make some changes. Absolutely. Right. On that note, we're going more than a game. If you want some footy chat at 2:45, just going over the weekend's games. If you want, I'm not gonna repeat that. And Joe says Dyche will be gone by Christmas. That's the positive. And Deep Shock says we've moved up a place since last week. That's a positive.
Yeah.
We'd moved up a place before we kicked off, didn't we, on Saturday?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Big Maresca doing bits for us, as the kids say. There you go. Any more on the... just wanted to see if Nathaniel come back. He did. The point I was trying to make is the date you've selected is arbitrary. We would have won the same amount as Brent. wasn't meant to. No, I know, but because, Nathaniel, we went 4 months from December the 16th till April without winning a game of football. We then won 3 in 6 days. And that's part of those 7 wins in 11 months. That was what I'm trying to say. 7 wins. Forget about before it. It doesn't matter what went before. Really, does it? What's gone on since then is 11 months of being...
11 months of history.
11 months have gone, and Everton have won 7 games. You shouldn't be able to cover the amount of wins in that time with 2 hands. I can do it with 3 fingers spare. I've read that. I think Moses had that on a tablet that he brought down. If you can,
what, do you have an iPad?
And it was well, it wasn't a modern iPad, quite clearly. It was an ancient iPad.
Oh, okay.
And it says if you can cover the amount of wins in 11 months on 2 hands or less, then you're in big trouble.
Fair play,
and
Moses.
I can do it.
He plays well, Victor Moses.
Moses. I'd have Moses off, I'd have the original Moses, but he'd no Premier League experience. Stuart says, Matt O'Neill sat as Nissi Optimum. I wish our club remembered what it stood for. I hope the free can bring it back. Like Maloko.
Roma are doing good, though.
They done well last night, Roma. Another good result. Lukaku.
It's good to see their... but they're a point a game, though. So they're ahead of us. They're trending ahead of us.
They're flying. So Leicester have said their points total is unacceptable for them, and they're 1 less than us. So there you go. It's good to know standards are there. Neil says Dyche plays to his own strengths and not the team's strengths. Right, let's leave it there. 2:45, more than a game, Premier League. Other teams who go forward and score goals, we'll be talking about. See you later. Bye.